Welcome to the Daily Edge, Marc Nudelberg, and today we have the SupplyCaddy CEO, a longtime friend of mine, a fellow Knoll, Zack Stein, in the seat with us. I cannot wait to get his story and pull out all of the things that make him successful. Let's find our edge. Let's find our edge. That starts with our affirmation. I am my biggest ally or my biggest enemy. I either speak belief, confidence, and hope, or I speak fear, anxiety, and despair. I decide. Zach, welcome to the show.
What's up, brother?
It's great to see you.
It's been way too long. I got to tell you, man, having all the Nudelbergs together here, Shea Money, it's bringing back memories. I love it.
First of all, it's not every episode that I get to have this kind of energy on the other side of the room. So I could feel it already. It's going to be a great conversation. Let's take people back for a second.
Let's do it.
You were a Knoll, same age as me. You graduate, I graduate. I don't go into on the ball because of my coaching career and that trajectory. And you slide into the family business. And you were talking about it, right? Like my dad brought you on for 90 days and said, I'm not going to pay you, but I will bring you to everything. I will teach you. And if you think there's a way you can provide value, there'll be a job for you. And that was actually the lift off of your career to now you run a multi-million-dollar packaging business. You work with some of the largest restaurants in the restaurant business, the largest names in the industry. Take me back to when you first got started and what that was like and what some of those things are that carry you today.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I will tell you, your dad and On the Ball gave me the foundation of being an entrepreneur. I think both you and me, together, growing up, we had the car washes and selling cards and Pogs or whatever it may
Pogs,
be.
Baby. Pogs and
Throwing
Slammers.
it back, baby, right? So, but I will tell you, I came out of business school. Your dad had known my mom for 40 years. So the relationship capital goes deep.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, come in here. I don't have a position for you. Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? Why the hell am I in your office, right? He's like, but I can tell you this. If you want to stick around, come with me to your point for 90 days and just absorb, be a sponge. And for me, that was like betting on myself, but understanding that I had sort of this mentor that was involved in so many different types of businesses. It was really the thinking that was being done differently. And I'm telling you, those are the fundamentals that made me want to be a further entrepreneur.
Was it hard for you in that moment to buck the track? Because particularly when you and I were coming out, it was go get your job, go get that salary, start working your way up the corporate ladder, go get started because this is it's like a train track that you're on, go do that. How hard was it for you to kind of say, no, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing and I'm going to do this thing that really doesn't have a plan, doesn't have anything in front of me?
Dude, it was tough, man. To your point, I mean, my friends were bankers or in finance and this, and I see them making decent coin, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for the subway meal. You know what I mean? Everyone thinks it's all rainbows and unicorns behind the scenes, but the grind was tough, man. But you know what? End of the day, you believe in yourself and you bet on yourself. And if you have a good coach or a good mentor or someone who's actually going to give you the support to engage with you. Your dad was there to give me advice.
Yeah.
Being a sort of just a fly on the wall and not being able to interact, your dad threw me into shit right away. And I'll never forget that. So yeah, it was tough, man. But I liked that journey. It was a different way to do it.
Well, I mean, look, you're in a position that a lot of people would beg to be in right now. CEO of a successful company, private equity backed, right? Lots of opportunity and growth and runway in front of you. You didn't go from that job and that intern or those 90 days at On the Ball to that overnight. What was that journey like from On the Ball to where you are now at SupplyCaddy?
Yeah, man, I think it all goes back to the root of entrepreneurship, knowing that I wanted to have a family one day. At the time, I wasn't married, didn't have boys, but I knew that I wanted to make my own schedule. So trying to figure out different positions to find myself the most educated person in the room and just not go into and set myself into one like specific bucket or vertical of what that was, and trying to have a wealth of knowledge of everything else. So being self-taught and really having the passion to understand how business works and its truest foundation of what that means. You can look at a dry cleaning business, or you can look at a packaging business or a coaching business, but if you don't know the fundamentals on how that works, I like to go into a room and be able to have a conversation with every person in there. So whether you're in this business or this business, having some sort of knowledge on how that works. So
it's funny that you say that, because I go back to my recruiting days, right? Like, as the young coach in college football, I was given some of the worst areas to recruit, and I was given essentially every area in the country, which at the time was so hard. But now are very few people in the world that I can't have a conversation with, because I've been to so many places. I know almost every area of the country, and I have something I can pull on, right? Like somebody tells me they're from Ohio, and I'm like, oh yeah, Grater's ice cream. It's the best, right? Or I'm like, oh, Skyline chili. It's not even chili. I don't know why you call it that. You know? That's amazing. But so but those spark conversations. Totally. Those allow me to connect with people, which you're saying in a business sense. You've been a part and seen so many businesses. What are some of those foundations of business that have helped you be successful regardless of vertical or industry?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the culture and the relationships that you're building, right? Each individual business has its own culture, but the principles that we brought into SupplyCaddy, or what started SupplyCaddy, still all comes back to relationship capital, which you guys know better than anyone. The ability, and I think I learned this from your dad, to be able to connect the dots, not in its most cliche form, but knowing that this person sells foam and this person has a yacht company, knowing that if I put this person in here to help develop and build that yacht, that is a very strategic thinking way of doing business that's built off the core of relationships.
Wow.
But you can't really just think that you know two different types of businesses without really connecting the dots, and that's extracting information from people and in your mind giving it like a business use case and saying like, I can fundamentally change this person's business with one introduction. That to me like always gave me a lot of joy, and like figuring out how to do that for myself and monetizing our relationship capital, or the Rolodex as your dad always likes to refer to it. You can scale a business pretty quickly if you're doing it from a genuine perspective, right? So like that was really fun for me.
Why do you think salespeople struggle with this concept, right? Like, number one, I know they get taught to sell, right? So they're thinking like, how do I get my service in, instead of thinking more broad of like, well, if I can just understand this person and their business, then I can collect a bunch of people and understand all of those things to be able to connect them. Why do you think that's so hard for people to grasp that concept?
Yeah, I think they just see this shiny object, man, right? And, you know, your dad, again, it all goes back to the Nudelbergs, but, you know, if you can sell someone for someone before asking for anything, they'll come back to you all day long, man. And that's not a selfish thing. That's not trying to come off the wrong way. That's just saying, hey, I've built up 30 years of relationship network to be able to use one of my introductions to change your business. To your point about coaching, you might have someone who's a sports agent or might have a consumer packaged good company, and you met a guy that you helped recruit 20 years ago. And you know what? He might be the right face to do this because he's launching a rib company in St. Louis. But if you don't understand how to connect all that together, people are still just looking to try to sell that as opposed to like creating value, man. Just create value.
That's so, I mean, you're preaching right now. Preaching that.
Let's go, baby.
Preaching that motto for us. All right, so help me understand how all of these things that you're talking about, relationship capital and creating value, somehow led you to doing packaging for Popeyes chicken.
Oh man, it's a roller coaster. I mean, long story short, our first client was Popeyes. In a time where the pandemic had hit.
So what were you doing when the pandemic hit? Were you already in SupplyCaddy? Were you already doing this?
No. So we started as a sourcing company of PPE when the pandemic hit.
Okay.
So again, going back to relationships, pandemic hit February 20. My dad calls me and says, Zach, we just had a board meeting at the hospital. Some virus has come into the States. We need some N95s. You're the most well-networked guy I know. Can you help? I said, Dad, I don't know if I can curse or not. What the fuck is an N95? So
are we getting drugs?
Yeah, I was like, I had no idea what he was talking about. But I called a few people that were in healthcare and medical supplies, and I'm like, dude, do you have any of these N95s? My dad's hospital needs it. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. I was like, Dad, I found some N95s. Who's buying it? How am I going to do it? Is this like the C? I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
Long story short, we sell masks to the hospital. I'm like, what just happened? I had no idea about an industry.
I just did a deal.
So I was like giddy, man. I was like, what else can I do? Hungry as shit.
I feel like that's the real entrepreneur, right? Like that
just
little,
figured out.
like you hit a deal without knowing what you were really doing, and then it tingles, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's something
I got
here.
chills right now, man.
Right.
So anyway, that was part of like an entrepreneurs group, and I get connected to the head of procurement at FedEx, and this was March of 20, and they're like, hey, I just got your number. I heard you're helping companies with masks. My supplier just fucked us. I'm like, what do you mean? We're doing a hashtag FedEx Strong campaign. We're printing this logo on the front of 2-ply cotton cloth mask, and we're giving them away to our drivers and retail employees to promote brand awareness. I need $500,000. I need them in 2 weeks. Can you get it done? I said yes, hung up the phone, called my partner. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what the fuck we're about to do. But long story short, we got it done. And at that point, I got obsessed and intoxicated with supply chain in its most like simplistic form, getting a product from point A to point B.
Yeah.
That quickly led us into food service, back to relationships. My brother-in-law, his neighbor and good friend, was the chairman of the board of the holding company for Burger King and Popeyes.
Yeah.
He said, hey, my brother-in-law just helped FedEx. Do any of your brands need help? He said, Zach, I have a problem. I said, what's up? I need paper bags. I go, what do you mean? He said, my restaurants are closed. Third-party delivery is the only way they're staying open. Our biggest supplier just screwed us again.
Oh, my God.
Can you help me? I'm like, what is happening? FedEx supplier just screwed them. Popeyes supplier just screwed them. There's a fundamental thing that's happening in this industry of procurement.
Right.
So we went down this food service path, helped Popeyes, and the rest is kind of history, man.
So when you got involved with Popeyes, were you able to really diagnose a problem that you were like, oh, we can solve this problem? Or how did that happen?
It's a great question. I mean, we looked at Popeyes as like a case study, and we went and surveyed 30 of the largest restaurant brands.
Yeah.
And we looked at packaging. Like, no one really talks about packaging. You and me in our day-to-day, but everything we interact with is packaging. Right. Your Amazon bags, your toothpaste container, whatever. And we found that packaging within food service was broken. It was archaic. It was run by like these large manufacturers that haven't made a shift in culture, haven't made a shift in how they're communicating in 30, 50, 60, 70 years. And I was like, dude, it's ripe for disruption. Yeah. Entrepreneurial, young, aggressive, people that want to do things differently. And we jumped in and we found that historically, all these guys were buying from these people because it was programmatic. They were just plugging things into a computer. Mm-hmm. And for the first time ever, this pandemic coerced them to think differently. Yeah. Like, dude, there's other packaging people out there. Let's see what we can do. Right. And relationships drove us to the C-suite, be like, what are you doing now for your packaging and supply chain? Let me show you how we can do shit differently. Wow. And that was sort of the inception, man.
So we actually had this conversation before, so I'm going to ask you again. So is that your differentiator in this supply chain space, in this packaging space, is relationships, or are you actually doing something drastically different?
Yeah, we just spoke about it, right? The commoditization of industry. Right. So it's tough. I mean, a paper bag's a paper bag, right? Right. It's not like, rocket science.
And it's probably got to go on a plane and then on a truck and then on a boat. And like, it's going to get here how it's going to get here.
And at the end of the day, it goes in the fucking trash can. Which drives me crazy. Right.
Like I don't want it to get greasy and rip. Exactly. Like that would be the worst thing that could happen. Other than that, just give me the paper bag.
The differentiator, yeah, I think it goes down to relationships. I think that what we've done different is that my partner and I are the only people managing the sales process. Wow. We do not have any salespeople on purpose. So when you go to a large organization that's a competitor of ours, you're dealing with an account manager of an account manager in a region. Correct. When you're dealing with us, whether you're Sweetgreen or Burger King or Popeyes, you're speaking to the ownership of the company directly. And like, we give a shit. Like, we're not dependent on 1,000, 2,000 people and employees. Like, your business is so important to us. We care so much as it's like our baby. The people that are employees of ours are dependent on us executing to feed their families. It's a different feel, man. Like, that's the differentiator.
So I'm going to ask you a question I think a lot of entrepreneurs probably struggle with then. Because if you guys are the sales force, there's a cap. Every salesperson can only sell so much, right? Are you okay with that being the limit of your business, whatever you guys can sell? Or do you want to try to scale that relationship-focused sales process to maybe a couple other salespeople?
Dude, I get chills thinking of it because it's a daily conversation. It's hard to answer. I think we need some on-the-ball coaching.
Don't worry, we can help you.
That's something we struggle with every day. We don't want to let go of that experience.
Yeah.
But to your point, there is sort of like this tipping point going back to Malcolm Gladwell of where do we want to go, right? So do we want to keep that? I think so. Do we have the ability to grow 10 times where we are? Yes.
Right.
At some point, it's going to shift. There's going to be sort of that pendulum of pain of how do we get through that? It's a tough question to answer because my team comes to me every day like, you need to let go. But that relationship, as an example of Popeyes, was built through a family member that has known that person for 30 years, that trusted him to drive their kids to school, that trusted me to make sure that product, that paper bag guy there, I'm not willing to give that up right now. But at some point, it's got to change. I don't know.
Well, this is I think new way thinking of sales in today's business world is everybody has relationship capital. You could hire somebody that will also have a brother-in-law, that will have a neighbor, and if you could teach them the system and the thinking and the process of operating that way, it is possible to scale a business and its relationship capital when you get everybody thinking like an entrepreneur. Doesn't make them an entrepreneur. They're an intrapreneur because they're inside of somebody else's business. But if they're thinking like an entrepreneur, then every entrepreneur understands that it's about relationship capital and they have to scale that. And if you scale that as an entire multiplier of people, I think it's possible.
That's a $1 million question. I mean, how do you think, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a difference in being born or having that innate ability of entrepreneurship versus being a doer or a worker or just someone who executes? And how do you change the mindset to the triangle that we're going through?
I think we have innate things in our brain in terms of how we look at things, but I think we're a product of our conditioning. So I think I was far more likely to be an entrepreneur because my dad was an entrepreneur. Those pathways in my brain were opened up for me at a very young age, as opposed to a buddy of mine that I grew up with whose dad worked at FedEx and worked inside of FedEx and was a FedEx executive for X amount of years and got an exit package and, went into retirement from FedEx. That's what their brain saw and understood. Those pathways have to be opened up. It's part of the reason I'm a part of Junior Achievement. I think that's what Junior Achievement does, is it takes kids that wouldn't naturally have those pathways opened up and opens it up for them. So I think maybe there's a point where it's harder to open those pathways in your brain. So like bringing in somebody that's 35 years old, that's been a career sales guy and thinks transactionally and is stuck in that way of thinking, probably harder. But I do think you can change people's brains if they're willing to go down that path of thinking differently.
Well, entrepreneurship is different than relationship selling, right? So we're talking about two different things. The way you guys have trained me, you and your dad, on business development and relationship form, that to me takes time. Like I was with your dad, I don't even know, 7-10 years. And with you, the way you guys, like I was alluding to earlier, understand someone's business in 30 seconds. And immediately understand who to connect them to change their business, that's hard to teach, in my opinion.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Because I think there is a superpower in there, which is the ability to synthesize information.
Totally agree.
I think that made me a better football coach because I was able to work in a lot of different offensive systems and see the parallels very quickly. And I was like, oh, this is the same play. We're just calling it this and we're running it slightly differently. So if I understand it, I can teach it better, right? That is, I think, a superpower. But I also think that just comes from studying. I think you can develop that, like you said, being around a lot of businesses and being truly curious about the way a business operates and the way it works, that helps you gain information. And the more information you have, the quicker your brain can synthesize and pull together the parallels to go, oh, I get it. And I think I know. And what I love about what my dad has done for forever and what I make sure I do is I never tell somebody I can help them. I say, I think I can help you, right? Because I don't really know.
Fair.
I'm not going to act like I'm an expert in what you do, but I think I might be able to help you. And if I create this introduction and it helps you, great. And if it doesn't, then I was wrong and that's okay too. But like that language of like, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in what you do, but I think I understand it well enough to where I might be able to help. And now here is the help that I think may,
Amen.
and it 99% of the time it works, right? Like 99% I'm spot on.
No, but you're right. I mean, like information is power. And now today, and like what I love about what you guys are doing, there's so much more access to information.
Yes.
And can you train that person to use the access to information to be able to develop this entrepreneurial relationship type of selling? I think you guys can because you've been there. You've done it yourself. What I don't like is when someone comes in and they haven't been in the entrepreneurship, the journey.
Correct.
Like it's a fucking grind, man.
Right.
Like if you don't understand those trials and tribulations, what you've been through, don't tell me how to sell. Right. And that's why I think what you guys are doing is pretty fucking unique, man. I gotta be honest.
What's crazy to me is that people don't even like want the information or don't want to use the information. It's like you can show people like, hey, here's a gold mine. I'm literally showing you where the gold mine is and showing you all of the gold. All you have to do is dig to get it. And they're like, nah, fuck it. I don't want to dig.
Lead a horse to water.
Like, I don't want to dig. Like, what, bro? Like, I'm telling you, it's gold. Like, it's all for you as much as you want. And they're like, nah, fuck
you want gold or Bitcoin? It's right there. Whatever you want.
Right. Yeah, correct. In common language, right? Like, all the Bitcoin you could ever have. Okay.
That's awesome.
2 more questions for you, and then we're getting out of here. Number 1, how do you continue to find your edge on a daily basis, right? Like you manage a lot of pressure, you're a father of 2 boys, you're married, your wife is very successful. Like there's a lot going on in Zack's world. How do you find your edge on a daily basis?
Tough question again, man. I think the edge for me is twofold. One on the family side is proving myself to my boys. That edge will never go away.
Yeah.
My kids know what I do for work. They understand the commitment that's going in. When they ask me questions when I come home, how was work? How is this? They know the work I'm putting in.
Yeah.
My edge to give them everything they want in this world. They have to earn it.
Yeah.
But that's my edge. On a work side, and this is kind of a fault as an entrepreneur, I have the desire for perfection. And it is a tough thing to battle with every single day. But my edge of being the best packaging company in the food service hospitality space is what drives me and every single day.
How do you maintain consistency to that? How do you maintain consistency to proving who you are to your boys and to chasing perfection every day?
It's tough, man. I don't know if I have a direct answer for you. It's a struggle. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Everyone sees all the pretty pictures on LinkedIn and social media. Good, right? But behind the scenes, it's fucking grind.
Yeah.
I love the grind. I love being in the trenches.
You love it.
And I think if you don't, you don't really have the entrepreneurship like deep inside you. And that's like my commitment is just continue staying in the trenches with the entire team. And again, it all goes back to my family, man. Just proving to them, what are you willing to give up to get what you want in this world? If you're willing to make some sacrifices, the rest is history, man.
It's great to see you. Thank you
I
for doing this. Yeah, it was so good.
I loved it.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Write in the comments how you find your edge every day. And now to take us out, look directly into that camera and say, let's find our edge.
Let's find our edge and find on the ball.
Let's go. Good shit, bro.